Greetings, everyone. Or should I say, greetings, Ravens Resetters. Somebody left that in the comments. So I was like, okay, cool. I can rock with that. It may have to grow on me, but I appreciate that. So, yes, people, please leave comments. I appreciate that. It's a phrase, a term that I may be able to rock with, may be able to grow with. So one of the things you all may have noticed that I am dissecting some of these phrases and terms that we use. That's one of the things I want to do is be more, I guess, aware of the things that we say and how we use words and um, just how we interact with each other. So one thing that I can't really rock with is this phrase, time heals all wounds. So recently I went to a funeral and it didn't sit well with me. One of the phrases that was used by the person who gave the eulogy, and then also one of the people that gave a prayer. Um, they continued to say, well, time heals all wounds. And it is a phrase that I've heard before, and it is something that is used. And feel free to debate me on this and give your thoughts or comments down below. But that phrase has never set well with me. I never believed it. I still don't believe it now. Do I think with time we can grow? Do I think with time we can learn or develop a way to kind of like distance ourselves more emotionally or mentally or not think about it as much? Um, do I think time sometimes even just has a way of making things dissipate? Sure. But there are some things that happen to me that aren't nearly as bad as the passing of a loved one, but still hurt because they cut. Um, they were upsetting. They were disappointing. Some of them were even devastating. Like it's like they came out of nowhere and it wasn't even death. So I just want to challenge the phrase that time heals all. There are places where, literal physical places, where I've been burned from like cooking, or I cut myself when I was younger and I still have the scar. So I wouldn't say that it necessarily healed. Is it less visible? Sure. Um, is it something I think about as frequently? Maybe not, but it's still there. Um, and what it made me think about is, even with my words, right? To try to be as cautious, as intentional, and as loving as I can be when I use words, when you use phrases, and you say things that you just have heard so many times over and over and over again. And I want to challenge you all to think about something that you've heard over and over again that never sat well with you, or that you just completely don't agree with it. Um, Maybe to ensure that you don't use it. And if you're in an environment that is a healthy environment, and the right opportunity and or time comes up to challenge it and or to say, hey, could we consider another thought or a new thought, or maybe how these words may have landed and that were necessarily not kind or not helpful. So one of the things that I want to do in my reset is be mindful of the words that I use and how I communicate, because it may not hit the way that I thought it should have, or it could have, or it may just be something that I've been conditioned into saying. And that's a whole that's a whole nother video, a whole nother topic, and things that we're conditioned into saying, doing, maybe even believing that aren't true, that are old and antiquated and just are not something we rock with or something we believe, but we just have heard it so much. So we repeat it. So I just had that thought, that was really heavy because I kept hearing people say that to people who are grieving, who are hurting, who are in pain. And they made, comment that, well, this time next year, you'll feel better. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Um, Maybe they'll be able to sleep a little better at night, but doesn't mean that they'll be healed. So just a reset for me, and hopefully whoever's listening, to be mindful of the words we use, of the phrases that we repeat, um, that may not be helpful, that may not be hopeful, and that may not even have any truth to them. So just something to let breathe and let that sink in. All right, I'll talk to you all later.